I got a chance to perform all across the United States. And then I get my first ever show in Canada. Ironically enough, at a casino. It's a casino we still perform at called Caesars in the city of Windsor, Ontario, right across the water from Detroit, Michigan. I come to find out the hard way that in Canada, it is a completely different term for describing the people originally from that land. The proper term in Canada is actually First Nation. I didn't know that. I was so nervous being in Canada, I said Native American. Like, hello, I'm not even in America, right? Freaking stupid, right? Pendejo, I know. Fortunately, someone pulled me to the side and they told me what was up. I was lucky that I had a second show, 10 o'clock. I take the stage and I'm like, before I begin, I would like to acknowledge all of the First Nation people who are here tonight. And then some guy yells out, "Call us Indians!" This guy in the front row was like, "They're not Indian." They're not Indian! Canada's always been an adventure. There was one show that we did at the same casino. Anytime now we perform outside of the United States, even if it's next door in Canada or Mexico, Martin's first question to the audience is, do we have any Americans in the house tonight? Because no matter where we perform in the world, there's always a handful. So that night, Martin takes the stage and he asks the question, do we have any Americans here tonight? Not knowing that earlier in the day, at that same casino in the grand ballroom, there was a end-of-year holiday party from an American company from right across the water in Detroit. And they were having this end-of-year celebration, and they were there pre-gaming since noon, partying it up. And I guess the party planner for the event thought it would be an amazing idea to end their party with laughter. So this person bought all of the tickets to my show that night and gave them to that company. Well, 7 o'clock rolls around and everybody stumbles in, takes their seats, and then Martin walks out and he asks the question, do we have any Americans here tonight? And instead of getting a yay, woo, right here, he got, they were so drunk they started chanting, USA, 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 USA. I'm in the dressing room, I'm hearing this, I'm like, why are we here? We could have done this in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I had to fill out paperwork. I'm like, this is not cool. So during intermission, Martin comes backstage and he tells me, bro, I don't know if you heard. Oh, I heard. You might want to mention it. I go, oh, I will. So at some point during my performance, I told the audience, so a little bird told me that there might be a couple of Americans here tonight. Is that true? Sure enough. And they started doing it again. USA, USA, USA. And then it got quiet and you could hear, America. I said, ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what just happened? We just made history. And people in the front row got their arms crossed. They're like, what are you talking about? History. I said, we just made history. Who would have ever thought you'd see the day where thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Americans would cross a border? The first time I performed at that comedy club, right outside these doors, that's no longer there, I'm talking to the marketing person. Now keep in mind, this is so long ago, there was no social media, there was no TikTok, no freaking Twitter, no Facebook, none of that. The only way you could promote yourself back then was you had to get on morning radio, morning news, have somebody do a write-up on you in the newspaper. Remember those? Yeah. And then, of course, word of mouth, which is always the best. They had posters at the comedy club. And so the marketing guy goes, Gabriel, help me help you help us. We want to sell tickets. How do you want to be promoted? I said, well, keep in mind, long time ago, I said, this is how I want you to promote my show. Please use a photo. Under the photo, put my name, Gabriel Iglesias. I didn't even have the nickname Fluffy yet. That's how long ago this was. I said, underneath that, please put as seen on Comedy Central. Because at the time, that was the only television credit I had. So the marketing guy goes, well, I was thinking, what about Gabriel Iglesias and his amigos? Amigos? Why amigos? Because I have other Mexicans with me? And he looked at me and said, good, you get it. I don't like that. What about Gabriel Iglesias and friends? Well, we want to put a couple of buzzwords out there to let the community know what type of show it is. I said, well, what type of show is it? It's a special show. I don't feel special. Gabriel, hear me out. What about like a Taco Tuesday? I don't like it. Okay, what about like a Salsa Night? Salsa Night? Wait, like dancing or chips and guac? Either one, I don't like it. I could not believe that I was having this conversation, and I wanted to get upset. I wanted to go off on this guy for trying to make me feel like less of a person, right? But I didn't, because I knew that if I went off on them, I would have been seen as difficult. I would have been seen as a problem, and I would not have been given another opportunity to come back. When people ask me, what do you credit for your success? Of course, talent, showing up, doing what you gotta do. But one word that gets left out a lot is the word sacrifice. I had to sacrifice something that day. And a lot of people think they know what sacrifice means, but honestly, until you have to make one, I don't think you do. I had to sacrifice my pride. Because as much as I wanted to go off on this guy, I knew that if I did, I'd be shooting myself in the foot. I knew that if they could see what I could do on that stage, they'd have to bring me back, and they'd have to treat me different. So as much as it hurt, as much as it sucked, I allowed that stupid Taco Tuesday to happen. So for me, I was very upset. I was wondering, is this something that happens to all new comedians, or was I being singled out? It was killing me. I needed to know. I couldn't just take out my phone and Google it because that wasn't an option all those years back. So what I had to do was I had to go to the front door of the club where they had a bin, and the bin had flyers in it. So I grabbed a flyer and I looked at it, and the flyer had the list of upcoming comedy shows. And I was so upset when I saw it because all it was pictures, names, and television credits. No silly names, no theme nights, no spicy this or crazy that, just comedy. So I said, why the hell are they doing this stupid Taco Tuesday thing to me? So then I said, all right, let me try to find another comedian who's a little bit more in my vein, if you know what I mean. The only other comedian I could find was a man by the name of George Lopez. With George's promo, however, it was just a picture, name, and underneath that, a television credit that said, as seen on ABC. That's it. It didn't say, likes to ride a donkey, George Lopez, eats a burrito with both hands, George Lopez. I just jumped the wall. It's George Lopez. No. So I said, why are they doing this to me? So then I said, all right. Let me see how they promote the black comedians. And with the black comedians, it was the same thing. Picture, name, television credit. And that's it. Unless it was a show that had multiple black comedians on it. Because if the comedy club had a show with 3 or more black comics on it, they would put a catchy name to it. They would call the show Urban Night or Apollo Night or Def Jam Comedy Night, BET Comedy Night, Blackish Comedy Night. But that's as far as they would go. They wouldn't go to the next level like they would for me. Oh yeah, there was no Margarita Monday or Taco Tuesday or Wetback Wednesday or Tortilla Thursday or Fiesta Friday or Sábado Gigante. No. That would never happen to black people. Are you kidding me? You'll never see a Malt Liquor Monday or Tupac Tuesday or Watermelon Wednesday or Thong 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 Thursday or Fried Chicken Friday or Suki Suki Saturday or Slap a Hoe Sunday. And that most definitely will not happen to white people. Well, I'm gonna do the joke. And you know why you can laugh and enjoy and not feel threatened by what I'm about to say? Because like what I said earlier tonight, I am here to entertain. I am not here to offend. I'm here to have fun with everybody, starting with me. Plus, it'll never happen. You'll never see a Monster Truck Monday or Trailer Park Tuesday or White Trash Wednesday or Take Your Sister Out Thursday.
Oh, hell no, Fluffy, you done crossed the line now. My name is Dustin and I don't play that shit. I'm from Davie, goddammit.